FTAs, a directive from the Prime Minister.
We are going to sign it and we are not going to allow anyone to stand into it.
The media will not be allowed to witch hunt.
තමන්ගේ වැරද්ද වහගන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ දඩේම යනවා නම් ඒකට විරුද්ධව අපි මාධ්‍යයට කියන්න ඕන තමුන්ව හදා.
Price formula for crude oil cannot be introduced. Statement from the cabinet spokesperson.
Supreme Court Justice Priyanta Jayawardena withdraws in the FR application filed by Gotabe Rajapaksa.
Land deeds for 2,500 families in the Colombo district.
Good evening to you. You're watching Prime Time News on News First. I'm Chaturanga Hapuarati.
And I'm Sonali Vanigabadage. We start off first with a look at tonight's top story. President Maithripala Sirisena was presented with a book titled The Essentials of English Grammar, written by senior newspaper journalist and former teacher at St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, Deshapriya Disanayake. The event was held at the Presidential Secretariat.
This grammar book has been written by Deshapriya Disanayake for both student and teacher to be used as a handbook for reference. Deshapriya Disanayake, who is a senior journalist with 34 years of experience in the media industry, has served as a chief sub-editor, deputy sub-editor and an associate editor at many newspaper organizations. The Essentials of English Grammar is the fifth such grammar book written by Deshapriya Disanayake. Deshapriya Disanayake's wife, Chandima Disanayake, was also present at the occasion to present the grammar book to President Maithripala Sirisena.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe spoke to Channel 4 on accountability and reconciliation.
Prime Minister, it's 6 years since the war and there's still no investigation.
We are putting together the mechanism for accountability and reconciliation. By May or so, when we are took before the UN Council meets in Geneva, we'll have our proposals ready.
The critical issue as far as the international community, and indeed I think as far as the Tamils are concerned, is the international dimension. Now the President said last week there will be no international involvement in this investigation.
No, we are not ruled that out. I'm just telling you the different prongs. No, he has not ruled it out. We have the first prong is the people itself. Whatever else we do, that they must find also benefit. And that's a long process that we've started.
But there will be an international component.
We are standing by our commitment at the on the Geneva resolution.
In the end, it comes down to trust, doesn't it? And trust is in short supply.
We are putting it together. I don't think there's anything to be worried about, John. We are all people who fought for it. But I put my neck out more than anyone else.
I recognize that.
We will get to one by May. All the doubts will go out.
Now, last week, when it came to discussing the disappeared, the people who cannot be found, you said, well, they're dead. It's taken 6 years for anybody to come forward and say, there's nobody missing, they're dead. But is that true? Are you certain that there are no detention centers where there are people?
No, there are no detention centers in the north or the south.
Are you certain? Are you certain that everybody who is in any form of detention is known to the government?
The 292 in detention are known to the government.
And that's all?
That's all.
No others?
No one is.
The problem is that we have specific cases in which people are recorded as having surrendered. They were seen in detention 1 year on, but they cannot now be seen. You're saying they're dead. I mean, if they've not come home and they're not
they are most probably dead.
A lot of blame has been pointed towards the Rajapaksas, particularly the former president and the former defense minister. Does the facility exist if they are found to have abused their power for them to be prosecuted?
Anyone in Sri Lanka can be prosecuted if there has been abuse of power. That's an offence. Unfortunately, many abuses of power are not offences in Sri Lanka. Can only be investigated by a select committee of parliament or by a commission of inquiry. But whatever leads to, whatever is an offence in under the laws of Sri Lanka, yes, anyone can be prosecuted.
Including them?
Including them.
Now, views were expressed at a media briefing today over the interview given by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to Channel 4.
In an interview with the BBC's Sinhala service, President Maithripala Sirisena stated that he does not have faith in a mechanism to look into war crimes by international judges and that this matter is an internal matter to the country which could be resolved with domestic judges and a domestic mechanism. In Geneva, this government's foreign minister Mangala Samaraweera agreed for the establishment of a hybrid court with international judges to look into war crimes. In the meantime, the Prime Minister had said, no, we are implementing this mechanism in May as agreed in Geneva. This statement has also been published in the island newspaper. Now this causes quite a contradictory situation. Did Foreign Minister Mangala Samaraweera take this decision at the Human Rights Council in Geneva without consulting President Maithripala Sirisena, who is the head of the state? So now, can we manage an international challenge?
Speaking in Parliament today, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed views on the conduct of the media. The Premier expressed his views during a debate on the adjournment motion regarding the police.
Under the Rajapaksa regime, the judiciary, the police and the media were destroyed. When we are now on the path of ensuring the forward march, do not go on a witch hunt against the police. The media should be held accountable for this. I am not going to speak about the incident in Ambilipitia. Then the media said that the notes of the journalists were taken by force. Who is Jayantha Nanayakara? Where was he when Eknaliguda was abducted? Did Jayantha Nanayakara speak when Lasantha was killed? Those who are vocal, please tell me if you know. Those in the balcony can tell me. I know you are all well cognizant about it. What did the Editors Guild do when Udayan was attacked? The media will provide this information. If you have an issue, please go to court and file an FR petition. We will go to courts as well. If not, we can sit down and discuss about it. However, do not go on a witch hunt. That is all I am asking. We do not want a media that is vocal about the Ambilipitia incident and then sweep under the carpet the Homagama court incident. Is there even a line about the Homagama incident on newspapers? Those who praised Mahinda Rajapaksa, similar to a Buddhist recital, have no right to speak about Buddhism. What was discussed in Abhayaramaya? There were around 20 to 30 people there. The media had said that they will take to the streets. I will get 100 individuals from Colombo to every person you field. Do not think the people's mandate will be suppressed to the old regime. Who is Eknaliguda? Is he a politician? What is the stance of the media of Eknaliguda? What is the stand of the electronic media? I will ask each one about what they think. Is Kirti Varnakulasuri a journalist or a frog? Eknaliguda's wife was reprimanded at the courts. They discuss and say, you publish this on Rivera and I will talk about it on Dharana or some other channel. There is a problem with Chatura from Dharana. Chatura was also on a witch hunt. Madhav Madavala and Chatura together with the Rajapaksas destroyed that place. They are trying to incite communal hatred. Anyone can get some papers together and print a newspaper. We don't have an issue with that. However, electronic media is owned by the people. Do not forget that. Do not spread communal disharmony through electronic media. Chatura has now launched an anti-Independence Day campaign. It's 5 years ago that Rivera and Dinamina were read out. They subsequently request the viewer to read the articles. Please stop this. I asked Chatura to air my views. I request Dharana to do so. Is the Dharana stand different to that of Chatura? Is the Dharana stand different to that of Madhav Madavala? They should answer these questions. There are two groups of journalists here. One group fought for independence. Victor can reprimand me. However, he also fought with me. I cannot answer him. However, I am willing to explain issues to him. If those who are on a witch hunt trying to be innocent, we will voice our opinions over it. Those who wanted me to go home and reprimand me and were on a witch hunt, all I can say now is, you can now go home.
We saw in
the past Sirasa was attacked. Lasantha Vikramatunga, Maheshwaran were killed. Investigations over these issues have stopped. We urge the minister who is in charge of the police to expedite the investigations over these matters. Why has investigation stopped? Why isn't investigations moving forward?
Minister of Housing and Construction, Sajith Premadasa, says that a permanent solution will be given to the housing crisis of residents in the Colombo district. The minister made this statement at an event to present land deeds to 2,500 families of the Colombo district.
Land deeds were presented under the Samda 7 housing program to residents who have been living in lands owned by the government and the National Housing Development Authority in the Colombo district for more than a period of 10 years. Several ministers and politicians graced the event. I would like to say that the first cabinet draft will be presented to the cabinet in the coming weeks to obtain the approval and required funds from the finance minister to launch the historic housing scheme in the Colombo district, which will provide houses to the small man for a lower price. It's with great pleasure that I announce that we will give our fullest effort to provide houses to shelter every single Sri Lankan citizen by 2025. I heard a prominent parliamentarian from the opposition saying that we go around the world and beg for the sake of the country. My dear friends, anyone can use any word they want to, but I will not say that we are begging. I would say that this is the service we render. I feel like former President Rana Singha Premadasa, who left us exactly 22 years and 9 months ago, has reborn and has begun to shine his light upon the people of the Colombo city through his eyes. I firmly believe that this program will be the start to a journey which will create a better environment than what you are in now, where you can lead better lives as good citizens with your children in another 5 to 10 years.
Cabinet approval has been granted to increase the import tax on a kilogram of imported canned fish from 50 rupees to 100 rupees. The government says that this decision was taken to encourage local industries.
This 100 rupee tax has been slapped on those who import canned fish. In addition to this, they should also maintain quality. They always import substandard goods. I constantly pointed this out during the past as well. It is very difficult for us to compete. They bring this rubbish down from China. This has been decided by the cabinet and the tax will be imposed as soon as it is gazetted. Meanwhile, the cabinet paper, which was tabled by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources Development to decide on the price of fuel in the country, is yet to receive cabinet approval. I said that if a price formula is to be brought for fuel, then bring in a price formula for everything else as well. If a price formula is brought when the price is reduced, then one should be brought when the prices increase as well. We lost in 2004 by trying to do those. The price of oil can be reduced, but just because the price of oil is increased, Maithripala Sirisena will not take the money home. When the cost of living increases, it is you who have to bear the cost of it the other way around. After all, what assurance is there to say that the oil price won't increase tomorrow from what it was today? What happens when the price increases? Pandemonium. We know how many billions the CPC is in debt for. The government needs to bear all the cost at the end. It is all spoilt. 200,000 metric tons of paddy were stored in order to win elections and then issue them at a lower cost. But they were not able to distribute them, which is why it was decided to utilize it for animal consumption. How could we distribute it? It was stored. Then the next problem would have been that if these stocks were released to the market, the paddy harvest of the farmers would have fallen to just 15 rupees. Well, those who brought them are to blame.
Here's what's coming up later on in the bulletin.
Sri Lankan farmers in crisis due to the shortage of fertilizer. Details on News First.
The second International Investment Promotion Forum of the Eastern Province, Invest in East 2016, was held in Colombo today.
The forum, which was held to promote local and foreign investment opportunities in the Eastern Province with emphasis placed on the importance of free trade agreements and developing particular sectors such as the IT sector, was held with the participation of Eastern Province Governor Austin Fernando and Chief Minister Hafiz Nasir Ahmed.
Our government is attaching the highest priority to rapid transformation of the Sri Lankan economy to create 1 million livelihoods and increase the incomes of our people over the next 4 to 5 years. Above all, Sri Lanka is located just 20 miles from India, which by common consent is going to be the fastest growing large economy in the world. In order to take advantage of these changes in the overall landscape, which we have improved the prospects of capitalizing on our proximity to India, we are planning to deepen and widen bilateral relations through the Indo-Lanka Economic and Technology Cooperation Agreement.
Recently I found some people who are getting on the roads and shouting against FTAs. All I want to say is, we put it to the people of Sri Lanka that this new government will sign FTAs with and economic agreements with India, Pakistan, China, Singapore, GSP Plus and USA, and the people gave us a mandate. So stop shouting, because we are going to sign them and go ahead. And if anyone in the private sector tries to fund against it, we are prepared to stand up against them and expose them. We are going to sign it, and we are not going to allow anyone to stand in the way. If they do, they'll be exposed as people who have prevented the young people, the million Sri Lankans, from getting jobs. And those traitors will not be allowed to lift their head up again. You have lined your pockets sufficiently. Now for God's sake, go home and let the people of this country develop in peace.
Software industry is an area of increased focus for us, especially taking into account our high literacy rate. So a lot of the software companies that we have here have done well, but our objective is to move this industry to the next year by tapping into some other regional talent markets as well. Currently the IT industry exports account for about $1 billion, and the target is to get that to about $5 billion by 2020.
Distinguished foreign delegates, with a massive pro-business, pro-market, investor-friendly government that Sri Lanka presently has, the peace dividends combined with the sheer economic forces that have been unleashed since the end of conflict in 2009 have already turbocharged the economy, as evident in the macroeconomic fundamentals and performance of the economy, along with indicators of sustainability presented in the previous speeches.
We forgot.
History of the Financial Crimes Investigation Division of Police. The Financial Crimes Investigation Division was established on the 21st of January 2015 upon a proposal by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to the Cabinet of Ministers to look into fraud and corruption. The division operates under the supervision of the Inspector General of Police, under a Deputy Inspector General of Police and a Director. The complaints are forwarded for investigation to the IGP by the Cabinet Subcommittee, which is headed by the Prime Minister. There have been instances where special complaints have been directly forwarded to the Deputy Inspector General of Police for expediency. At present, the complaints that have been investigated thus far, 226. The number of investigations that have been concluded and files sent to the Attorney General, 34. The number of incidents where cases have been filed at the High Court, 4. Remainder, 30.
Was the progress of the investigations carried out by the FCID discussed at the cabinet meeting yesterday?
No, it was not discussed.
Minister, civil society organizations met with the president and signed a letter asking that the corrupt be arrested. What is the progress on this?
I think it has been decided to take legal action against those whose investigations have been conducted.
When will this happen?
Decisions have been made. This cannot be completely taken over by the government. These have been given to the relevant institutions. Those institutions have asked for some time, stating that it will be done in a few days. Who likes it when public funds are being looted? A number of thorough investigations that were carried out have now concluded. The relevant documents have been handed over. The police are conducting investigations, but nothing happens. Why? Because after the conclusion of the investigation, it is being sent to the Attorney General. It is through the Attorney General that the legal action is initiated against the wrongdoers. This is like sitting for the ordinary level examinations after completing advanced level. If you are to create a civilized tradition, the rulers need to provide the proper authority. Have we forgotten?
Supreme Court Justice Priyantha Jayawardena recused himself from hearing the fundamental rights application filed by former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa seeking to prevent any arbitrary arrest.
The Cabinet of Ministers, Secretary to the President, Inspector General of Police, Director of the Criminal Investigations Department, the Attorney General and several others have been named as respondents in the petition. The petitioner states that there is a likelihood of his arrest following investigations by the police FCID over irregularities said to have taken place with regard to Avantgarde MiG fighter aircraft and the sale of Lanka hospital shares. 3 Supreme Court judges were named to the bench to consider the case: Justices Priyasat Death, Upali Aberatna and Priyantha Jayawardena. As a result of Justice Priyantha Jayawardena recusing himself from the bench, the case was postponed until the 25th of May. On a previous occasion, an order was issued by Justices Eva Vanasundara and Sarat Diabru preventing the respondents from arresting Gotabaya Rajapaksa pending the hearing and final determination of the petition. Previously, Justice Boneka Aluvihare, who was on the panel of judges, too recused himself from hearing the case. UNP parliamentarian Mujibur Rahman expressed the following views in Parliament today during the debate on the adjournment motion on the police.
When interviews were held for DIGs, who were in the interview board? Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Gamini Senarath, who served as the President's Secretary and the Chairman of 16 corporations. They were in that panel to interview DIGs. That is how it was done. He served as a secretary to Mahinda Rajapaksa. He has several allegations against him of financial irregularities. A person like him was also in the panel to interview Deputy Inspector Generals of Police. So now we can clearly see as to how much the police department was politicized under the previous government.
On several previous occasions, we spoke about the shortage of fertilizer.
So what is the current status of this situation? Newsfirst Sulfiq Farzan reports.
Farmers in Sri Lanka are facing a severe crisis today. This is because of the shortage of fertilizer supplied to them. Now, as a news producer, I could have reported this situation to you from the newsroom as a news item. However, I decided to come out here into a paddy field so that you can understand the gravity of this situation. Look at this paddy field. The paddy has reached a stage where it's almost in the harvesting season. However, if this paddy is not treated well with fertilizer, the harvest will be really, really low. And in order for the harvest to be really good and also beneficial for the farmers, fertilizer is an essential. Fertilizer has to be added to the paddy fields. If not, the farmers and the country will face a serious situation.
Farmers in many areas were not granted the required amount of fertilizer to reap the paddy harvest at the right time. As a result, the All Island Farmers Federation says that paddy cultivation has reduced by almost 50%. They believe that as a result, this time too the harvest may see a drop by around 20%. The expected harvest during the season is usually around 3.5 million metric tons.
Just as I was, many farmers across the island are wondering what they are going to do next. There is an old saying in Sri Lanka, when the mud is washed away, even a farmer is fit to be a king. However, if a farmer is fit to be a king, their paddy fields need to have fertilizer. Yet, many paddy fields across Sri Lanka see the absence of fertilizer being added. Farmers ask us, why aren't the proper authorities addressing this issue? Why aren't the authorities providing a solution to them? So until a proper solution is provided, News First. We'll keep a close watch.
The Epidemiology Unit of the Ministry of Health has appealed to the general public to exercise caution when travelling to countries which have been affected by the Zika virus. Although the virus has not been detected in Sri Lanka up to now, the Ministry of Health points out that it is important that Sri Lankans exercise caution.
Zika, linked to shrunken brains in children, has caused panic in Brazil. Thousands of people have been infected there and it has spread to some 20 countries.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of the news. I'm Sonali Wanigabavige.
I'm Saturang Hapuarachi. Take care and good night.